It is time once again for the weekly and monthly closes on our favorite Bitcoin miners. Let's get right into it. First of all, I'm going to say it's pretty atrocious. These are all pretty bad. We're going to start with Cleanspark as usual here, and we are going to look at, well, that's fine. We're going to look real quick here at the 200-week moving average. We closed beneath that. That's bad. That's real bad. Now we have used that has successfully marked the bottom of the move, once, twice before. Okay, it has. But is it going to be this time? I don't know. Basically, ever since November of 2023, every time we've done a closure beneath the 200-week moving average, that has marked a bottom. Now, it has sometimes taken 2, 3, sometimes even 4 or 5 weeks to recover from that bottom. But there is a historical precedence of it doing that as its bottom, going beneath the 200-week moving average. Even though closing beneath the 200-week moving average has often marked a bottom, I am not going to be sitting here and going, bullish off of that, because that is not a bullish sign. So just because it's happened in the past, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, it's definitely going to happen in the future because of that. So keep in mind, it has done that since the bull cycle started. It has done that once before, twice, a second time right before the bull cycle started. But as you can see, this has been consistently making lower highs here, until Cleanspark successfully breaks this yellow line. I'm going to make this actually a lot bigger. Whoops, wrong one. Until Cleanspark successfully breaks this line. And I want this one to be dashed too. Okay, there we go. Until it successfully breaks that line, it is in a downtrend, and it's not going to go any higher. It has hit this line once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, and not broken it. Is the 7th time going to be the charm, or are we going to hit it here next week or the week after at 1168 and then find ourselves crashing all the way down to $7 or even all the way down to $5? Because believe me, I don't want to see it, but this thing can come down to $5. The bottom of the ATR band is all the way down at 502. The bottom Bollinger Band is down at 542. It can go below the Bollinger Band. It could hit the ATR band. It could go below the ATR band. If it gets all the way down to $5, that's not really support. That is support. That's the top of the support, right? The bottom of that support is all the way down at 337. Okay, all the way down at 337. So this is bad. It looks like garbage. It's really actually quite disgusting, considering that it's a top tier miner, and it is mining one of the scarcest assets around at a significant profit per coin, and it's just dropping in value day after day after day after day. So not to sound too bearish, but until we get above this yellow line, I can't be really bullish on this. I do have lots and lots of Cleanspark warrants, which have deflated significantly recently, and we'll take a look at those as well here in a second. But let's go look at the monthly close. How did the monthly close look? Okay, monthly close is bad. It's gross. So on the monthly, we closed this month and last month beneath the 50 and 30 month moving, or 21-month moving averages. Okay, we're right in the center of the Bollinger Band and the ATR bands here, right dead center, meaning we could go either way. Okay, we could go either way. It's not like back here when we were really low back in November of 2023, right? And it's like, well, the Bollinger Band is right there, so it's going to catch us if we went any further and take us higher. And instead, it took us higher, hit the top of the Bollinger Band, and we hit the top of that Bollinger Band in March 2024, and we've just been falling in this horrible, horrible channel ever since. The Giga Cup I was mentioning on the monthly chart from before, that's gone. That's done. That's done. So we're not going to expect that to happen now. So I cannot, in any good conscience, say I expect it to go to $40 anymore. Okay, I can't, because that is now invalidated. That cup and handle, we keep closing way too low. It's going on way too long. That cup is not there. Okay, now that doesn't mean that we can't get some good upside. That doesn't mean that we can't hit $25. That doesn't mean that we can't hit $30. But this cup is no more. Okay, it's not there. We got to find a different bullish structure now. It has been invalidated. It's done. All right. I know that really sucks to hear. I don't want to hear it either. I have tens of thousands of dollars invested in CleanSpark, and it's just bleeding out. It's just bleeding and bleeding and bleeding. So at some point there will be a bottom. At some point it will find a bottom. At some point it will turn around. At some point it will go up again with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is just becoming a harder and harder asset. It's becoming a just a more scarce asset. It really will go up eventually, assuming it doesn't get completely abandoned. But I don't see that being the case, considering that even governments are looking at investing in Bitcoin now. So I don't think that that's the case. I don't think it's going to disappear. I don't think it's going to be become some obscure asset again. As Tom Lee has said on, I think it was NBC, Bitcoin has reached that $2 trillion, or is it $2 trillion? Yeah, $2 trillion market cap, and never in the history of financial markets has an asset reached that market cap and then just disappeared. So at this point, it's likely staying. It's got staying power, basically, is what he was saying with that. Okay, so CleanSpark looks absolutely atrocious. The warrants, okay, also pretty atrocious. Okay, we had that huge pop up, hit 165, and it's just been bleeding and bleeding and bleeding and bleeding since. We did tap 41 cents. I believe 37 cents is, 37 right here is the 786 mark. That's where I'm expecting to see some significant buying coming in. It does look like it paused for a second, then reignited. Now, this once it breaks this yellow descending line here, I'm expecting this to have a nice pop up, maybe to 94 cents, perhaps even to $1.34 or higher. So if I start seeing a turnaround in CleanSpark, I will probably add to my warrants for a little bit, try to even them out, get them up to a certain number. I've got one in my head. I'm thinking like 25,000 warrants, something like that. So that's kind of what I want to do with the warrants right now, and I'm slowly building that up. I've been buying on the way down. I bought at 66 cents. I bought at 50 cents. I will buy more probably at 39 cents. Or if it goes a little bit under that, like 34 cents or something, I'll probably pick up some more warrants there. So that's basically all we got there on the warrants. Okay, and that's the weekly. It's not going to have a monthly, so it's got to break that yellow line. Once it does, we've got room up to 85. Breaks 85, we got room up to 104. I didn't say on CleanSpark. Okay, on CleanSpark, so we could go all the way down to $5 or lower. Okay, we can't. We have to break this yellow line, meaning we have to get above 1111, right? 1117, and then we have to crack 1343. If we cannot crack 1343 sometime soon, I'm talking soon, then this isn't likely to see much more than the mid-teens until next cycle, possibly, unless suddenly all the uncertainty is taken out of the market. Suddenly we get a bunch of M2. Suddenly we're in quantitative easing, and it's overt and obvious. In that scenario, we launch back up to 25, maybe even 30 or 40, right? In that scenario, if that's not going to happen, if that isn't happening, if we aren't getting more M2 injection, if we aren't getting an increase in the ISM manufacturing chart there, I think it's at like 51 right now. It's got to launch. That's got to go up. If we don't see the dollar coming down, if we don't see the 10-year yield coming down, if we don't see quantitative easing coming out of the Fed, signaling that things are going to get easier now, things are going to be, money's going to be flowing freely again. If we don't see those things, CleanSpark is not going to recover, and none of the miners are going to recover, and Bitcoin probably won't get much higher above $100,000. Now it's got to go way higher. It's got to go way higher than $100,000 now to get these miners out of the toilet. That's just the reality. It's going to have to go way over. It can't just come right back up to $100,000 and we're all good. It's all good and fine now. No, these things aren't going to recover off of that. We've been hanging out there, and we've just been bleeding out the whole time. So don't get that in your head like, oh, it's going to go to 100 and then they'll come up to, these might move like 2 or 3%, maybe 10%, something sad and just gross compared to what Bitcoin will do if it goes up to, when it goes back up to 100,000. I mean, we had a $10,000 candle yesterday, almost. It was like an $8,000 candle, and we sold. We were only up 6% on CleanSpark. It was basically the same amount as Bitcoin. So yeah, it's not going to happen. It needs to do more now. Okay, it needs to do more now. All right, Mara, also beneath all the weekly moving averages, a disgusting amount, completely detached, really gross looking. In fact, let me turn on the shaded background one, 2 moving averages with zone coloring. There we go. So this just flipped red on the weekly. That's bad. That's real bad. That's going to have to flip again real quick. Real soon. There was one. Oh, yeah. This is the one I want. I don't want that one. I want Watson envelope. Give me my Watson envelope. Yeah, we're not even close to the bottom of the Watson envelope, which is basically the same as the ATR bands, but smoother. Yeah, we're not even close to it. We sweeped the bottoms over here. We sweeped the lows. This is the lowest low Mara has made since December 2023. So this is the lowest low it's made in like a year and some change. Okay, that is bad. Okay, we're at 52-week lows right now. We touched that. Okay, we came all the way down, hit my line here at $12 last week. That is bad. That is gross. Mara really, again, it broke this line, and that didn't even matter. It just kept dumping. So now it's going to break a new line. Let's get a new trend line out there. Basically, they're really trying to take any hope we have and just dash it on the ground. There we go. We're at the bottom of this megaphone now. This could launch all the way up to the top of this megaphone, which would be all the way back up to like $22, $23. That'd be pretty cool. I have been buying a little bit of Mara down here, okay, because this does seem severely oversold. It does. It really does. Now the weekly RSI is only at 39, so it could go lower. But I mean, is it the lowest it's been ever? Yeah, that's basically reaching the same RSI on the weekly that it did when Mara was at $7. So hopefully we'll see a turnaround here pretty soon, maybe something like this, right? As soon as this stochastic turns yellow and the BX trender here starts turning a lighter red, I'm going to be getting a little more bullish on Mara and thinking, okay, we could get back up into this channel, maybe come up into the mid-20s again. But again, Bitcoin's going to have to do a lot more. It's going to have to do a lot more. Or companies like Mara that aren't, pure Bitcoin like CleanSpark are going to have to be like, oh, we announced that we got like a really big deal for AI or something. They've got to do something. If things stay as they are, we will continue to bleed out even if Bitcoin recovers. Okay, Bitcoin's going to have to just go a lot higher to get these things to do what we need them to do or what we want them to do. Let's see here. I know I'm coming out real bearish. I'm not like as bearish as I sound though. I do still think there's hope, and I'll show you where I think that hope is. I just don't think that we should be having these like insane ideas of like, oh man, it's gonna go back up to 88 like it did last cycle, and that's gonna happen. It's it's definitely gonna happen. Like no, we can't have that kind of attitude here. Things are bleak. It's bad. So like if you look at the last cycle, right? We came all the way up to 58, right? And then we came down. How much did we come down? How much did we drop? We dropped 68%, and then we went up to 88 from there. Okay, look at what this looks like right here. Just like, does this look familiar right here? Does this section right there look familiar to anything but worse? It looks familiar but worse. Oh, whoops, I didn't want that. There we go. And turn off my drawings. There we go. Okay. It looks like we got a double top, and we're closing beneath the midpoint of that double top, which means there is a chance we could come all the way back down to, again, like $5 on Mara. That is real. That is a reality. Okay. We came up, came back down, looked at the 30, bounced off of it, and then came back down, broke beneath the 30, tapped it from beneath, and went lower. Does that look familiar right here? Right? We came up, hit the 30, bounced, hit the 30 one more time, bounced, came back underneath, tapped it from beneath, and we went lower. We could be going as low as $5 or more. Okay, that's the reality. Now I bought some Mara here because I think that the risk to reward is worth it at this point in time. I do think that we could see a double up, but again, it could also drop by another 50%. It absolutely could. What did we drop here? We came down a total of 61%. That's very similar. So there is a scenario where these things don't recover. There really is. And we're going to find out really, really soon. There will come a point soon where I will absolutely drop everything Bitcoin related if it does not recover. I will do that because as part of the trade plan, these are the zones of invalidation. We are reaching them. We're getting very, very close. And I will. And this, of course, is not financial advice and not a suggestion for anyone to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. It's just what I'm doing. This is my plan that I have had, that if certain things get invalidated, that I'm done. And I'm not messing around with it because it's ridiculous. I'm not a bag holder. I'm not doing it. Especially since we lost this channel here. That's bad. This needs to recover. And it needs to recover soon or that's it. Let's take a look at Iren now on the weekly. Iren also looking like complete and utter garbage. Okay, complete and utter trash right now. So we came up, we did this cup and handle, and guess what? It failed. It failed right there. That cup and handle is a failure. We came all the way down to the bottom of the Watson envelope. We're beneath the 50-week moving average. We're beneath the 30 or the 21-week moving average. Excuse me, that's not the 30. It's the 21 in this one. We still have tons of room to the downside. The ATR and the Bollingers are all the way down in the 5s and 4s. The top of it is only at the $16, $17. Look at here. We touched it here, and boom, top dropped out. This is, again, it needs to recover. It needs to recover soon. I've got like 20% profit right now, and I'm gonna cut this thing. If it comes down to 5% profit, I'm cutting it. I'm done with it. I'm not messing with it anymore. Like, that's it. You're done. If you don't perform, you're gone. And that's basically how I need to view this right now. We are in this disgusting, this nasty downtrend, descending channel. Let me go ahead and draw that out for you. We're in this really nasty one, like right here. And it's like that. In this nasty descending channel. We need to break this channel. And then we'd have a shot up here at 1591. And you know what? I'm selling there. It comes back to that top, and it doesn't blast right through it like a knife through butter. Like, if we come back up to 1580 again, and it doesn't absolutely slice through it like it's not even there, slice through it as hard as it sliced through support down here. If it can't do that, if it can't slice through resistance with that kind of strength, I am dumping everything there for Iren. And that is it. I'm not going to come back and look at Iren again until it's $6 again or lower. Okay. So that's what I'm looking at there. I know a lot of people are going to get upset with this, but that's just reality. If these things cannot perform, they must be cut, in my opinion, for my portfolio. If they don't perform, they get cut. Especially this. Look at this. This is bad. This is really bad. Look at this monthly candle. Look at this wick on this monthly candle. That is marking something terrible. We got tweezers again there, just like we had tweezers back here. If we do not get in like a week or two a significant move up, this thing's done. Look at that. We have a 32% wick on top. That is gross. That is just bad. This thing could, if we lose this blue line here at 814 on the monthly, we could come down to $6. We could come all the way down to $4 on Iren. Okay. Again, I'm not trying to be all gloom and doom here. It's just reality. Pay attention to it. These are signals that mean that it could happen. Doesn't mean it's going to. It's not a guarantee or anything. It's just a 32% wick on top. That's bad. That is really, really disgusting. And that is not what you want to see. That is a terrible candle. That is a really bad candle. Okay? It's just a bad one. All right. Let's move on to Riot. Weekly on Riot. Again, Riot also looking pretty terrible. So Riot had something of a, let's see, okay, had something of a bull flag forming there, and it got invalidated. It's done. That's done. That isn't going to happen now. They broke the lows, and it closed beneath the lows. So that bull flag there on this thing, done. That's invalidated. It's over. Okay, on that one. So we are kind of on support for Riot a little more than some of these others. We're not kind of in the middle in terms of being on support or resistance. There is significant resistance at 1125 and honestly at 1050. For support, we could come as low as like 732, maybe even 639. We lose that, and it's going to drop to the floor. Okay, we lose 7. You know, if we lose 7, what did I say, 39 or something, 720, 715, somewhere in this little region right here, we lose that. Is that about 725? We lose that, we're going to drop to 6 into the 60s. We lose that, the floor is going to fall out. We're going to hit $5. That could happen. That absolutely could happen. Again, if I don't see some turnaround next week, I will be cutting some of these positions to like significantly lowering my exposure to these positions. If I don't see some serious turnaround here. I want to see some kind of, I want to see an engulfing bullish candle. Otherwise, I'm not really interested anymore in holding. I've got some profit, and I'm going to take it, and I'm going to walk away. And I'm going to let it either show strength higher and reinvest at a higher position when there's actually more likelihood that it will move up, or wait for it to bottom out. Let's take a look at the monthly for Riot. Okay, let's see here. This is, yeah, it's just disgusting. It's just in this downtrend. We hit the middle of the channel there, and it could come in reverse and go back up to about $13. But until it breaks out of this channel to the upside, and even once it does that, it's got $16. It's significant resistance. Really, not until it's over $16 does Riot have any chance of going anywhere higher. So yeah, that's basically, we are on support. That's the only good part, is that it's on support. It hit it. We're green on the monthly BX trender, which is not the case on the others. Let's take a look again. I mean, Iren hasn't even been around long enough to get like an actual line. It's just, getting worse and worse and worse there because it's getting darker. It's getting darker. It's getting lower on the histogram, meaning the volume is falling off. Mara is red. I believe CleanSpark is also red significantly and getting redder. Okay. Riot is the only one making, it made a lower high this time on the monthly. So that's bad. That's bad. We need to see a turnaround. We need to see it break the $16. Otherwise, I'm not interested. Btdigital just got a red dot on the BX trender and a lower high on the histogram again. The stochastics look bad. The RSI looks bad. This all looks gross on the monthly. Let's go to the weekly real quick. I'll look more at the chart on the monthly here in a second, but let's look at the weekly. All right, weekly. Again, atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. Btdigital, I said had a date with 250. It came down, it beat 250 and lower. Okay. It went as low as about 230, which coincidentally is the bottom of this candle here in August 5th, which was the yen carry trade unwind. We hit that bottom and got a teeny tiny bounce. Okay. That doesn't mean we're going to stop there. In fact, with this, it is accelerating. Look on the BX trender. It's accelerating until we get higher lows and a yellow on the stochastics. It's accelerating. This thing could hit $2. We could hit $2 on Btdigital. I'd be interested in Btdigital again at $2 and maybe write it up to, 377, 350. And then I would go over there because I don't trust it anymore. But that's about it. Yeah. Where it does, Btdigital is just really accelerating badly to the downside. It's got to break this line here, and even when it does, it's got this white line, which will be resistance now. And just next week is 367. A couple weeks out, let's say May, that'd be $4 would be the highest I could call on that, and with any kind of confidence. So right now it looks like it's got a date with $2, unless we see a turnaround again next week, which would be great. But we can't say that it's going to. All right, let's take a look at the monthly. Not as bad as Iren. Doesn't have a huge wick on top. Iren, that was a bad wick. Don't be surprised if that thing continues to dump. If it goes if it goes any lower, like if next week it's just opens up and starts dumping, I'm out of Iren. I'm done with Iren. I'll wait for it to come down to $4 or $5, maybe even lower, and then I'd be interested again. But if it's gonna keep dropping, I'm done. Just like I've cut out Bitfarms, just like I've cut out Btdigital, I will cut them as well. If they don't perform. And of course, nothing I say is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. Let's see, the BX trender, yeah, it looks bad on Btdigital on the monthly. We got a red dot last month, and we continue to sell off this month. And with the momentum, we got a lower high again. That is bad. All this is bad. Yeah, the monthly, the candle is not the worst, but it doesn't look like a bottoming candle. Doesn't really look like a bottoming candle. We got some decent volume above average volume, just dumping for 3 months now, so that's pretty rough. Let's go take a look at Bitfarms. How's Bitfarms doing? I'm sorry this is not a fun video this week. This one's kind of rough. We were just hugging the bottom of this trend line down here. We got so close to $1. It was like $1.05. I said we had a date with $1. And we got really, really close to my line here, within pennies of my line here. So that's pretty sad and scary. Don't love that. We got to break this yellow line. And even once it breaks that yellow line, 170's got resistance at the 21-week moving average. $2 has resistance at the 50-week moving average, and 245 at the 200-week moving average. I don't see Bitfarms, unless something really, really significant changes about Bitfarms as a company on a fundamental level. I do not see it getting out of this channel. And this channel, the top right now is the 200-week moving average at 245. I do not see it going any higher than that, unless we get best case scenario, they announce something amazing, huge fundamental sweeping changes that are for the better. If we don't see that, Bitfarms will not go above $2.45. That's just how it is. Or Bitcoin hits $250,000 tomorrow. Then yeah, okay, maybe Bitfarms will go up. But otherwise, it's just red on red on red. It's just disgusting all the way down. This horrible, it's doing a falling wedge, but it's been doing it forever. It's not stopping anytime soon. It's got to break this yellow line, and then it's got to break the 21-week, the 50-week, and the 200. And then the 200-week is probably the cap on this one. We are getting close to the bottom ATR band at 86 cents. The bottom Bollinger is at 71 cents. This could go to sub $1. Okay, if you're still holding on to bit farms, I'm sorry, there's not much hope in these charts at this time. Let's take a look at the monthly. How's the monthly look? Pretty bad. Let me turn off the drawing so I can actually see what the candle looks like. It's just a doji. It's happy falling. Like it's been doing this for 2 months now. It's just happy dumping and dumping and dumping. That's it. Oh, look, the 50-month moving average is all the way up at 253. Yeah, we're not going above 250 unless something really significant changes in the Bitfarms chart. And again, notice something very similar to this section of chart here from December 2023 until December 2024. It looks almost like a mirror and much smaller image of this cycle here, which was the blow off top followed by a mid-cycle break and then another move up, which is exactly what we got here. And then it dumps and dumps and dumps and dumps and dumps and dumps and doesn't stop dumping until the next cycle. We might have already played out the cycles, and that might have happened last year. And that is really frustrating to think that that could have happened and that it was so small. But that could have happened. It could already be done. Keep that in mind. It could already be done. Let's look at Iren too. Not Iren, Riot. Let's look at Riots. Did Riot do a similar thing? Riot looks like it did it even earlier. Did this huge double top and then boom, took off. What about Btdigital? Did Btdigital? Btdigital did not. Btdigital really didn't. It just had like a peak in December 2023 and then another peak in November 2024, and that was it. Boom, done. It was really in Mara and Riot where you see them. Or not Riot, Bitfarm. Yeah, Bitfarms where you saw it. I don't know why Bitfarms and not Riot, but yeah, I saw it in Mara where it had the big blow off top back there, right? And then we had like the double top, boom, and we're meeting that bottom where we could come down to 8 or even 6 or lower on that. Let's take a look at Slnh, the lotto play. It is the monthly is actually what? Did the monthly make a higher high on that? How? The monthly for somehow has made a higher high even though we've been dropping this whole time. So the momentum has been going up and the price has been going down on Slnh. That's interesting. That's quite the divergence, actually. We're below the bottom Bollinger Band, which is all the way up at $7.43 for Slnh. Is Slnh going to be like the standout thing that's going to like spike for like 2 or 3 days up to like $20 and then come back down to $1? I mean, maybe it could happen. It could happen. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say about that. The monthly chart on this thing is insane. Let's see. Not 3 days. Let's go to the week. Weekly looks okay. This looks more like what I was expecting for several weeks here. It's been getting worse. The BX trender gave us a red dot just last week, and we sold off even harder this week. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Bottom Bollinger is actually down at about 40 cents, and the bottom Bollinger is at negative 15 cents. Nice. The RSI on the weekly is at 31, so it's almost completely oversold on the weekly, so that's good to see. But this volume bar, look at how big that volume is on this weekly here, this sell-off. Look how huge that volume bar is. That is bad. That's really, really bad. And this is why Slnh was a lot of play. It was never meant to be a bigger position than maybe a couple $100 at most, and it never was for me. So I'm really not too concerned about this thing going to 0, but it does look like that is more likely than it going up at this point in time. So Slnh looks just atrocious, just like all the others, but possibly even worse. It's one of the few that looks like it could go bankrupt, actually. And of course, nothing I say is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. Just my thoughts when I look at the charts. Okay, Cifr. Cifr hit the 200-week moving average and closed ever so slightly beneath it. We got a red dot on the BX trender there. This could go lower. Okay, it just could. So right now, what do we want to see? What do we need to see? We need to see it to come up and at least test this yellow line up here, which is all the way up at 653 right now. It doesn't look like it wants to do that, though. It probably won't do that, no. We might actually finally be losing this channel here that it's been in since, honestly, that channel, it goes back even further than my drawing. That channel goes all the way back to January 2023. So we're looking at over 2 years of channel here, and it might finally be breaking out of it. Now, I know we saw it break out of this before, but like look at the, okay, this is how we know that this is a major problem. Look at that volume bar, that big red volume bar. Look at that thing. It is dwarfing everything else on this chart for years. For years. This is the biggest sell off, the biggest capitulation in a 1 week period we have seen on this chart in years. In fact, this might be the biggest volume bar on this entire chart. It is. This sell off right here on Cifr is the biggest volume bar, massive selling, nothing but selling, biggest volume bar we have ever seen on the Cifr chart. That is horrible. That is bad. That is almost bankruptcy level bad in terms of how much that is selling off. Like, I would be running for the hills on this. If I were in any Cifr position and I see this volume bar being that insanely big compared to everything else, this is either the capitulation moment that sends it flying into the sky right after, or that means this thing is cooked and it is done. So I would hold it maybe a few days into the next week, see if I get any kind of bounce out of this thing, showing me any kind of hope, like, okay, this got severely, so insanely oversold, it's ready to come back now. Or if it continues, that's it, I'm done. That's it. I would never look back. Let's see if CleanSpark is the same. Let me turn off the drawings because that's an insane amount of drawings. No, not even close. We're not even close to the biggest volume bar on this thing. Let me turn off the earnings. I don't want to see those. Show earnings. Okay, there we go. All right, yeah, not even close. It's not even getting close to the highest volume bar. In fact, the biggest volume bar is still green, which was back in February 2024. Okay, that's cool. So not too bad. Let's take a look at Mara real quick. Biggest volume bar, not even the biggest sell-off or the biggest buy. The biggest sell-off was in January 2024. Also, so far, at least, is it the biggest sell-off in... Yeah, that's the biggest bar on this chart of volume. So there you go. Let's take a look at Iren, see if Iren has it. It's actually one of the biggest, but not the biggest. So again, Iren, if it doesn't perform next week, we're done. And I'm done with that one. Let's take a look at Riot. Is this the biggest one ever? Not even close. What about Bitdigital? It's a decently big sell bar, but not even close to the biggest one at all. Okay, so that's not too concerning. It's not like the worst thing that's ever happened. Bitfarms, also not the biggest sell-off. Slnh, that is... Yeah, that's the biggest volume sell-off on this chart, so Slnh might be cooked too. So, yeah, that's bad. If we don't see anything out of Slnh, I would just write that off as a complete loss. For Slnh, I might continue to hold what I have just because, but yeah, complete loss. Cifr, yeah, this is the biggest volume bar ever on it. So that's a problem, and it's horribly red. If you don't get green days soon, I would run for the hills on this one. What about Corz? Corz actually had a nice buy up. Came down on the weekly, dipped beneath the 50-week moving average at 1052, and then went right up above it. That's actually not a terrible sign. That's not bad. I still want to see this thing above 1332 before, or 1313 before I'm interested, because it's still in this downtrend that I've got drawn on here. Yep, it's still in this down channel. It's got to get above this red line here, 1323. I have it out. It's lower now, 1330, 1313. Now I want to see it get above that. Once it gets above that and then tests it from above, then I'd be looking at Corz to go higher. But it actually looks like it's got some promise, and that's because it's got a pretty big AI component in their company, so they're not fully dependent on Bitcoin. Let's take a look here. On the monthly, we don't really have much to look at. It's a doji. It's a doji. Corzi's giving us a doji, so it looks like it's happy right here, right now. I don't see any huge, bad, terrible sell-offs in its future at this moment in time, but it's showing a doji. So until it gets back above the 21-week moving average, which was at 1313, until we get back above this 1313, and then test it from above, right, come up above it, and then come down from above it, tap it, and then bounce. Once we get that, oh boy, it's time to go. Kind of like right here. Like, it's exactly like right here, right? We came down beneath it, right? Came back up to touch it, and then down lower. But we want to see that in reverse on Corz, and then we'd be looking at Corz potentially to go long there. So that one's actually looking a little promising. Wulf, also a little bit promising. We got a nice hammer candle at the bottom of the move here. That's not too bad. Now we closed beneath the 50-week moving average, so that's not good. But look, it was green volume, so it was lots of buying volume in this versus lots of selling, like on Cifr. That was a horrendous. That was like a death volume bar. That's bad. BX Trender doesn't look good. Stochastics look terrible. RSI is not great. So all that's still bad. But we're in this downward channel. Again, Wulf, I wouldn't be interested until it got above 542 and then came back, tested it from above, and then launched. I'd be looking for that. You know, the dip, just like this in reverse, right? We came down, retested from below, and then down further. But we want to see that in reverse on the way up. That's what we're looking for. This one doesn't look terrible either. I'd like the candle last week for Wulf. Let's look at the monthly on Wulf here. How did the monthly close out? The monthly, again, just like Corz, it's giving us a doji. It looks like it's happy right where it is. It needs to see a move up and then a retest from above before we're looking at this thing to go any higher right now. It looks like we're going to just capitulate, just fluctuate between $4 and $5 for a little while here. If it falls down lower, we could go to 333, and then we might get caught there, maybe even as low as 279. But on the way up, yeah, we could go as high as like 645 or $7 before really hitting any significant resistance. Let's take a look at Hive. Let's go look at the weekly. The 1 week is not great. Hive is collapsing. It's falling out of this descending channel. That's bad. We're beneath the 50-week moving average. We hit the bottom of the Watson envelope. Oh, that's pretty bad. The volume came in at about average. You see that little tiny thin blue line there? That's average volume. So it hit about an average volume, but it is still falling. Stochastics look bad. RSI looks bad. This candle also is just all selling all the way down. So it doesn't look like it wants to recover next week necessarily. It's not really getting any equilibrium either. Let's take a look at the monthly, see if that shows us anything better. Not really. We still got wicks on top pointing us downward. We're beneath all the moving averages. HUT could easily come down to like $10.21. If it breaks that, we could come as low as $6.50 on the way up. Let me go back to the weekly so I can get a little more granular on this bigger moves here. On the weekly, yeah, on the way up, we need to get above 1568. And then 1812 is the next resistance, and $20.33 would be the big level to crack in order to move back up to the top of the range. We got to crack those three, otherwise we're coming lower, which we could go as low as like $6 or so, but we probably won't. I'd be looking closer to like, honestly, I'd be looking closer to like 850, 860 on HUT on the way down. Let's take a look at Hive real quick. Hive, I've been saying for a while it's at the lowest low that it's been in a while, but now we hit 52 weeks lows just this week. Just that's bad. So that's not great. So 52-week lows. We went even lower on this. Now this could be a fake breakdown, like a fake breakdown, a bear trap. It could be. It could be on all of these. And we're gonna watch this next week and the week after very, very, very closely because we're getting on the edge here. We're riding that line, and we've got to see a move. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to just say no more. But right now, Hive, lowest lows it's been at since January 2023. Okay, the next level of support, we've got no support beneath us. So $1.36 is the next support, and it has to hold. If it doesn't hold, that's bad. The volume that we've been seeing the last couple of weeks on Hive is some of the biggest volume we have ever seen on Hive. Okay, the last 4 weeks, we've been seeing them, and they've all been pretty much red bars except this one weekly candle where we kind of tried to fight back and failed. Okay, so Hive is also showing some really scary signs here in terms of these volume bars being insane compared to anything that has come before it. The fact that we're sweeping the lows, the fact that the next support is significantly lower, and now we have resistance at $3.12 and $3.20. They're at the 21-week and the 50-week moving averages, and they cross down, by the way, so that's bad. I don't see this doing anything good until it gets back above $3.38. I don't see anything good in this here. It broke my white line there. Like it wasn't even there. Like, dang, that sucks. I don't see it going up anytime soon, unless we get something really, really good coming out of here. So I'm actually not even interested in this at all right now. I would need to see it come back above 338. Show me some strength. Give me a nice. I need an engulfing green candle. I need an engulfing green candle like this one right here. So this is what we're looking for on all of these, actually, on all of these miners, every single miner. This is what we're looking for. I'm going to draw this for you right now. Okay. Clicked on the wrong thing. This right here. This is what we want to see. We want to see these big red candles get engulfed by big green candle. We want to see that. Until we get that. If we don't get that in March somewhere, that's it. That's all she wrote. So we need to see a big engulfing candle, a big one. Just like that. That's what we want to see. This little pattern right here, a big red candle and then a big green engulfing candle. And then, I mean, it can go flat for a couple weeks after that. That's fine because you know what's going to happen next? Probably another big engulfing green candle. So until we get that, until we get an engulfing green candle, I'm not interested at all in any of this stuff. And sometimes those can be a fake out, like back here in December 30th. We got an engulfing green, and then it just hit that 21 and it fell. So, you know, even if we get the engulfing candle, 338 might be the highest it goes even on a wick. Okay, so pay attention. Watch that. Watch it close. Did I do the monthly on Hive? Yeah, I did. Okay, let's go to the can. Broke my line, so that sucks. This thing is barely on any kind of support. It could come all the way down to 95 cents before seeing any bounce. So watch that. The volume has been dropping though for weeks. That's good. BX Trender, it's good in terms of it slowing down to the downside. BX Trender made a lower low. That's bad. Stochastic still pointing straight down. RSI still pointing straight down. I would not touch this. Again, this needs an engulfing green candle, and it needs to break 178. Otherwise, I have no interest in this whatsoever. Otherwise, I'm going to hold to the opinion that it's coming down to like possibly even 90 cents. And even once it does that, the highest I see it going is possibly $2.41. And that's like the highest I'm looking at right now for it. So I'm not interested in can at all. Let's take a look at Oh, wait. We can do the monthly. Let's look at the monthly, even though this looks pretty bad. Let's look at the monthly. Monthly volume's been dropping all 3 months while we've been losing it. Okay, we got a lower high on the BX Trender. That's not good. Everything looks bad still. This is a pretty wicked candle. Yeah, this thing looks like it wants that 90-cent range right now. Especially this wick right here. This is the same wick we saw on Iren, by the way, for this month, for February. Same type of wick. Huge red flag. Huge one. That came in December for can, and that was it. Boom. Falling down. All right. So let's go over here. We'll go back to the weekly. Let's look at Bitdr, and then we'll close out with MicroStrategy, Coinbase, and Bitcoin. This is a really long one this week. Hammer at the bottom of the move for Bitdr. Not terrible. Not terrible. It tried to go beneath the 50-week moving average and said, no way, man. And came back up, touched the bottom of this megaphone pattern. This megaphone pattern that I've got here, and closed just beneath it. So that's not great. It's beneath it's an envelope, so that's actually a good sign that it could move up higher. The 21-week moving average is at 1544, so that's going to be a significant area that it's going to battle, and it needs to get above. Okay. This volume bar is, let's take a look at this volume bar. It's way above average, but it's not the highest it's been. Okay, so that's good. But these wicked big volume bars are huge compared to anything in the past. So yeah, we really need to see a green candle on Bitdr that goes up to 1663 without pausing. We really need to see that happen. At least getting through the 21-week moving average at 1544, a big engulfing candle that just goes through that like it's not even there. Otherwise, you're going to see every rip get sold off. Okay, if you get an engulfing green candle and it does not slice through that 21-week moving average like butter, that rip is going to get sold.